So we're spiritual beings. We're actually eternal beings. We existed before the world was created. And then we visit the world for a period of embodiment. And what happens is we start being misidentified. We start being ID'd as our bodies. And what I mean by our bodies, I don't just mean tall, short, fat, thin. I mean all the stuff that comes with the body. Smart, just the wiring, the way our brains are made, or socially outgoing. Different things that come with having a whole a body and the whole biochemistry and your neural wiring, all the stuff that we call a personality. But it's the trappings of physical embodiment. And you become known for that, and you know yourself for that. That becomes your identity. And if you luck out and you have one that's generally considered appealing, that'll get you far in life. And if not, then you have greater challenges in life. And if your parents don't particularly like your personality or the way that your embodiment expresses itself, then for sure you're going to have some major insecurities, right? But all of that, what I'm saying to you, that's not the real you. The real you was your soul. But people forgot about your soul. And they started identifying you with these secondary, almost accidental traits of embodiment. There's only 2 times when people, generally speaking, remember that we are more than just our embodiment. And that's either when you just got here or you just left. So babies just came to the world. So you kind of, even if you don't articulate it that way, you're sensitive to the fact that this little being came from another world, And then when people pass away, you're cognizant of the fact that they've moved on to, or if they've returned to another world. So what happens when people see us as spiritual, eternal beings? They like us. And they think we're wonderful. And when they see us as transient, transitory, temporary, physical beings, then they have nothing but judgment for us. Even best case scenario where you luck out and they judge you mostly favorably, right? But even that's such pressure to live with. The pressure of having to continue to earn people's approval. And the other eventuality, if you don't earn people's approval, so then that's a terrible burden to carry through life. But that's not me. That's not the real me. That's not my soul. If you would know my soul, you would have a totally different opinion of me. You would have a totally different value of me. So here's what I want to tell you. It is the job of parents not to be fooled by the child's embodiment. And that just like when your child was a baby, you were aware that there's something special and there's a gift here, and this is a gift. I didn't make this child. I mean, this is beyond something. I can't go to the workshop and make one of these. This is a miracle, right? This is sent from beyond. And just like we had that feeling of this child is wonderful, and they didn't do anything, and they didn't earn your acceptance, and they didn't earn your validation. You didn't tell your baby, you know what, you can't even talk. How can I know if I like you? Grow up, learn to carry a conversation. We'll go out for coffee, and I'll find out if I like you. You didn't, no one said that, right? No one would say that to a child, to a baby. Why? Because with a baby, you understand they don't need to be able to carry on a conversation to have value, because you're seeing them as a soul, and a soul has intrinsic value. So here's what I'm telling you. When this baby grows up, and now they're a teenager, and they have their own personality, and maybe you like their personality, maybe you don't like their personality. Maybe you like the choices they're making, maybe you don't like the choices they're making. You know what? A teenager is a very funny thing. They're not children anymore, so you can't grab them and force them to do what you want them to do, but they're not adults, so they're not exactly wise enough to make the best decisions. They're very dangerous. It's a very dangerous in-between state, and they're figuring life out, and sometimes they're learning from mistakes, and it can be unnerving, more than unnerving, it can be terrifying, because you care for your child's welfare, you care for their safety, and here's what I want to tell you. The same way you are able to look at a baby. And the same way, God forbid, someone passes away, you're able to see them. That's how we have to look at people in the in-between times, during the embodiment. And even during the awkward phase of embodiment called the adolescent years, where most people are unlikable. It's true. You never met, no one met teenagers here? Like, I don't understand, why was that like, people are looking at me like I said something wrong. It's not a known fact that most teenagers are insufferable. I said something wrong. I mean, it's a true thing. I mean, I'm not putting down teenagers. It's an awkward time in life. It's an awkward time in life. You know, they say that there was 3 simple Jews, and they went to shul, and they heard the Torah reading about the Akedah, when Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac. And afterwards, they were talking, and they were trying to figure out, how old do you think Isaac was when his father was going to sacrifice him? So they were simple Jews. They didn't know. One of them said, I don't know. I mean, I think he was probably a little kid. He must have been like 5 years old, because his father was just able to, tell him to go, and he listened. Yeah, okay, maybe 5 years old. And another one said, no. But remember the part where he carries the wood? I mean, he carried wood? He must have been a man. He was like 40 years old. And then the third one said, you know what, guys, it's probably like right in between that. He was probably a teenager. The other 2 said, no, he couldn't be a teenager. Because if he would have been a teenager, then it wouldn't have been a sacrifice to slaughter him. Okay. So what I'm saying is like this. You don't have to pretend teenagers are likable. But you do have to realize, as their parent, that they're the same soul. The same soul as before their embodiment, the same soul there will be after their embodiment. And what that means is that irrespective of how you like their behavior and their appearance and their demeanor, forget that. That's all about how you are feeling about it. That's all about your feelings. Forget that. Let's talk about objective truth. This child is a soul. And that means that they are intrinsically worthy, unconditionally worthy, and infinitely worthy. So 3 things that I talk about in the parenting course. That a soul, and therefore every child, is intrinsically worthy, unconditionally worthy, and infinitely worthy. Intrinsically worthy means their worth comes from within. They don't have to go out and do something to get it. It doesn't have to be acquired. Unconditional means they can't lose it. There's nothing they can do to lose their worth, which is related to intrinsic, that it's built in. And it's infinite. Infinite means, how worthy are they? There's no number for it. And if you really want to be philosophical, infinity is not only that which cannot be detracted from, infinity is that which cannot be added to either. If you want to be philosophical for a moment, because infinity really, there's nothing you can do to make it less, but there's nothing you can do to make it any more than it is already. So the real value of a soul can't be lost, but it can't even be embellished. It's already as great as it could possibly be. Hey, this is Shais Taub. You were just watching a clip from this class. If you want to get the full context, the full class that this clip that you just watched was from, you watch right here. Click right here. Here.